Dear learners, now we will discuss on management perspective. Here we know that the whole world is full of organization and they are performing different functions and services, and these services are rendered to society. Thus, the organization to be properly managed so that all the resources and other things can be associated systematically. So management is a new field of study of this modern age. It is a field of study which is dependent on some principles, and all these principles and methods are being used in any organization so that organization can effectively and efficiently achieve the desired result. So management is a particular field of study which can be applied in any organization for achieving the objectives of that organization. So it is a process. It is a process and based on time dependent phenomena also, and it utilizes and mobilizes different types of resources. These are called 7M: man, money, material, machine. All these things are to be associated and their use are to be optimized. So all these resources are to be mobilized systematically towards the fulfillment of objectives of an organization. Without management, all the things will be haphazard. All the things cannot be coordinated effectively. So if we want to make the work successful within the desired, to have desired result, then we should have to apply management. So management has different aspects. It has different point of views, and all these views can be expressed in a systematic manner so that we can understand the management perspectives in each and every field or in total world also. So now if we look to the PPT1, here we can say one abstract concept, that the concept of management is as old as the human race itself. History shows the application of management far back as 5000 BC. The Sumerians used written records in assisting government operations. So whenever any work is made systematically, means applied with scientific procedures, maintaining all the aspect in a careful manner, then the execution of work can be possible effectively. So management is a special controlling technique so that the desired result can be obtained, the work can be executed effectively, efficiently and optimally. So where there is a chaos, to avoid the chaos, to make an order, the management process, management principles can be applied over there. So management is a body of systematized knowledge based on some principles which are verifiable in terms of organization, which is again the purview of administration also. Sometimes we call management, sometimes we call administration, but there is a very fine difference only. Otherwise, almost they are same. Administration is the superior work and management is the executive work, leadership work. So that difference will be clear when we will define it. So here, once the management is an essential element of organized society plus an integral part of our life. John F. Kennedy also fruitfully remarked that the role of management in our society is critical in human progress. It serves to identify a great need of our times to improve standards of living for all people through effective utilization of human and material resources. So, management perspectives hence be viewed the management to understand it from different point of view. Now, we can see the various definition. As per Peter Drucker, he puts it, management is the crucial factor in economic and social development. G.R. Terry opines in this regard. He said, management is a distinct process consisting of planning, organizing, activating, and controlling and accomplish the objectives by the use of people and resources. Then Kreitner defines management is the problem-solving process of effectively achieving organizational objectives through the efficient use of scarce resources in a changing environment. Some of the integral elements be analyzed as follows. That management perspective is shown from that angle. Number one is problem solving process. Manager has to take decision in problematic situation and accordingly he has to add various scientific procedures and perfect measures so as to solve the problem. Number two, it is organizational objectives. That means manager will fulfill the objectives of the organizations. Once it was that the organization works and fulfillment of works is the management. But nowadays the definition is changed in a different way, that an organization has its own objectives and objectives to be fulfilled, some work to be done, and in times of making the work some resources to be applied, some resources to be mobilized, and hence and then only the management will act effectively and efficiently and the objectives of the organization can be fulfilled. So we can see the earlier pages where we can see that resources are different, that man is one resource, money is another resource, material is another resource, machinery is another resource, method is another resource, market is another resource, motivation is another resource. And together with this, the other three important resources also require to organize and to conduct the managerial process, that is energy, information, and information communication technology. So scarce resources are to be properly managed and optimum use of these resources can fruitfully bring out the objectives of an organization in a favorable way. So that is one of the important perspectives of management. Another perspective is efficiency. That means within the use of optimum resources efficiently and more result, more profit, more gain to be obtained. But the cost of losing the human value cannot be permitted. That means value of the human behavior, human relationship, all these things to be procured, and thereafter the effective utilizations of resources can be able to produce the desired result in favor of the society, in favor of the organization. So therefore management is a distinct important subject and it is the modern subject, and each and everywhere from our dawn to the evening. So we have to use these management principles from house to industrial organization, from world to cosmetic cosmosis. So all these things to be applied through the applications of management principles. Then store of knowledge. A new field of study has been presently developed in a systematic way based on some scientific procedures. This body of knowledge, this body of systematic knowledge based on some general principles constitute the management thought. All these management thought are collected from different subject fields, from sociology, from psychology, some philosophy, behavioral science, management, economics, statistics. All these subjects contribute much towards the formation of management. So now we are seeing the changing environment. Managers have to face many new changes. Nowadays, information and communication technology are introducing very forcefully in all organizations. Resources are going shortage, and people's attitude and behavior are going to a complex situation. Different organizations are appearing. National and international competitions are forecasted, different aspects of the social problems. So in this complex situation, a manager has to complete his work. A manager has to fulfill his objectives. So therefore, we have to apply the management principles very carefully. So changing situation, changing perspective is another aspect of management. In this changing perspective, day by day, the situation is changing. So manager has to apply his personal brainchild and personal efficiency and intellect towards controlling the total situation. The subject is highly developing, highly changing. A proliferation of principles are newly coming up. So management is a important subject. It entrenches in every sphere of human life. In every walk of life, we have to apply these management principles. Otherwise, the functions and development cannot be achieved at all. So management is a goal-oriented activities. Particular goal, objective should be there. In each organization has its own objectives. Organization is duly organized with some objectives, and to fulfill the objectives, these organizations work accordingly. Value-based work to be done with the help of management. So management is certainly a goal-oriented point of view. Then management is concerted effort. Means all the human beings must have to concerned with these activities. A concerted effort is required. No single person can achieve any work of an organization. In an organization, divisions of works are there. Different activities are there. So one man cannot work, or one group cannot achieve the activities. So therefore, the personal grouping and different groupings and total concept, a system approach, a whole approach to be organized, and interrelationship and interaction, interdependency among themselves is highly required. So a human relationship among themselves to develop. So therefore, all these things are to be done in a concerted way. A concerted effort can bring the success. So esprit de corps, that means united we stand, divided we fall. That means all the peoples, those who are working in the organization, they must have to come in close contact, in close view. The views will be the fulfillment of objectives, and accordingly each person's work to be completed within its own personal objective. Therefore, MBO, management by objectives, means each and every organization has different objectives, greater objectives, and different sub-objectives of subgroup among the subgroups. So therefore, basing on the objectives of individual, basing on the objectives of a group and the subgroups and total organization of the total body, total organization, the people will work in such a way so that they can fulfill their objectives and their functions and their relationships, their activities are to be coordinated effectively. And management is universal in nature. It is most important. Management is universal in nature. It will save our time, it will save our finance, and we will achieve the work universally, that can be applied universally. It will achieve the national value system. So therefore, management is universal in nature. Throughout the world, in each and every sphere, in each and every organization, each and every institution, where there is any work, there is a management principles. So therefore, we can say that management is universal in nature. Management is a social process because it belongs within the society. It is not the unsocial work. All the human beings, all utilize the resources sitting in this environment, social environment, they will work, they will think of the society. It is not that they will collect only more product, more profit. It is not that. All these things to be done very systematically. So therefore, in a social process, the management to be work in systematically, that all the social items within the social environment, all these principles to be applied. So therefore, management principles are society based. So management is a dynamic function. No lazy activities, no delay, no inefficient. All these features to be discarded with great motivation and with greater relationship, greater interaction. Dynamically, we have to work. So pinpointedly, exhaustively and expeditiously, in an expeditious manner, when the problem will arise, as soon as the problem will be solved. Accordingly, we will survive. Otherwise, if we delay in our work, so we will not be able to survive. We will not achieve our success. So therefore, the management is a dynamic function. Management is both also art and science. Scientific principles are there because science means the systematic principles, the perfect activities. That means utilization of resources in a scientific way. So scientific principles will only help to achieve a work within a desired period by the applications of desired resources. Without science, the total work will not achieve systematically. All the efforts will go in vain. So scientific method, systematic method, law of interpretation, law of symmetry, law of impartiality, law of osmosis, law of parsimony, law of local variation, all these mental basic principles to be applied so that the management will effectively and efficiently will achieve the fulfill the objectives of the organization. So all these basic laws to be applied in the all these basic things will be intermingled with the principles of management. So therefore, management is an art. Actually, it is also science because it is as old as arts, as old as human values, and it is youngest of sciences. Practical application is the basis of arts. So therefore, management apply the practices. It does not depend on imagination. So actually we know that the principles, scientific principles are very systematically applied in practice. So therefore, there is an art. When a human being will mix up with another mind and the product will be made for the society. So therefore, we can say that there is systematically art and science both are present within this field of management. So it is a specialized knowledge. it is to be acquired by education. So therefore, Mary Parker Follett expressed that as professional man assuming grave responsibility, as such, only trained and disciplined men can hope to take will success. So therefore, to achieve in management means we have to achieve some management knowledge through proper study and program. Without study, the management cannot be applied. So after a proper study for a particular period, and when it will be processed, then and thereby the management principles can be applied very systematically. A layman cannot be applied the management principles. However, he can execute the work, we know, but he can be success in his work if he systematically, scientifically applies some procedures. That's why every scientific procedures means the management, the attitude and ideas are there. So, management skills are to be learned through education. Number one, that is a technical skill, then analytical skill, leadership skill, conceptual skill, communication skill, and decision making skill. So, based on these principles and skills, a manager can execute the work very successfully. A different type of work needs different type of techniques and procedures and processes. So therefore, each manager has to know the technical activities of his organization, and then and thereby he will achieve the objectives, he will be success in his work. So therefore, technical activities are to be procured with proper training and knowledge and education. Then human skill, a human behavior, a human being must have to apply his logic, his behavior, his interrelationship, social behavior to other social being, and then and thereby he will make a relation among themselves. So more human being when will be associated in a work, then human relationship, human behavior, social behavior, all these things to be applied. As manager will belong within them, so manager has to possess some behavior, some social behavior. Without this human skill, he will not be able to motivate all his people. And therefore, a manager must have to possess human skill within him. Then analytical skill, interpretation. Everything is occurring in this practical world in different ways, but the mind to be applied, the sense to be applied, observation is to be applied. He has to notice the thing, matter. He has to analyze the matter. He has to go into the matter. Otherwise, he won't be able to find out the problem. So, problem can be solved. A particular man can solve the problem only when he will apply his basic laws, basic principles, his basic ideas, rationality. So, man is a rational people. He will apply his mind, intellect to solve a particular problem. The latent thing to be disclosed with the help of complete mindset, complete mental analysis, interpretation only. So, a manager must have to possess some analytical skill in this regard. Leadership skill. This skill is most important. That is, he will motivate all the followers. He has some determinants. So, he will see the objectives. He has some objectives and qualities. Based on these leadership qualities, he will be able to motivate. He will mobilize all the subordinate peoples towards defined goal, towards defined activities and processes. So therefore, leadership skill is most important. Then conceptual skill. He has to know all the matters, all the perspective of an work. That means conceptually he must be very competent, that he will see the matter in his foresight. So, and he will anticipate many things. He will be able to anticipate. Otherwise, the success cannot be achieved. So all these conceptual skill to be developed among himself, it depends upon the experience, it depends upon the study, it depends upon the decision making processes. So therefore, an experienced manager can be able to achieve this skill very effectively. Then communication skill. In the modern age is known as science, advertisement, communication. So therefore, each and every man has to communicate with this world community. General communication, verbal communication, technological communication, digital communication, social communication, media communication. So different communication systems are now coming up. So therefore, a manager must be very competent enough to possess such type of communication skill, so that immediately he can communicate, he can instruct, he can give some, he can set some ideas, he can set some good things before the subordinate personnel. So therefore, he must have to possess some communication skill, then decision making skill. So when a librarian will be able to achieve all these skill, that is technical skill, analytical skill, conceptual skill, communication skill, then he will be able to take a good decision, right decision, effective decision, dynamic decision, time-based decision to solve the problem. So manager first function is decision making, and manager another most important function is leading. That means he will lead in such a way that followers will follow him. Then managerial role is another important. Now there are different things. Interpersonal relationship to developed among the personnel. He will act as a figurehead, he will act as a leader, he will act as a liaison officer. Then information processing, he will act as a monitor, he will act as a disseminator of information also. So therefore, we can say that a managers will possess some character, that is, he must have to possess good knowledge regarding his work, and then decisiveness, he will be able to take some decision as and when the problem will appear before him. Then conflict resolver, when any conflict will arise between human or material human, money human or anything else, when conflict will arise in an organization, the manager will effectively solve the conflict, eradicate the conflict, and he will move forward. Then emotional stability, in each situation, different situation, whatever may be the situation, whatever the changing situation, everywhere his mood, motion, behavior will be controlled, his emotion will be controlled, stable, based on some stable emotion, he will be able to control each and every function. So therefore, knowledge, decisiveness, conflict resolver, and emotional stability must have to be achieved, and these are the most important quality of a manager. That means the managerial aspect also, and he has to apply different functions, important functions. These functions can be termed with the acronym POSTCOR, that is planning, P for planning, O for organizing, S for staffing, D for directing, Co for coordinating, R for reporting, B for budgeting. In an organization, planning is most important. Planning is the first and foremost activity. So in management perspective, the managers must have to plan very systematically before taking the work in action. So planning function is the another important perspective of managerial function. Then after planning, you have to think how this work can be done with the help of organization, with setting up different hierarchical levels. So therefore, organization is most important, There are organizational principles to be applied over there. Then who will work over there? Some people will be appointed. So staffing is most important function. Appointment to be done systematically, right person to be selected in a right way, right person in right position. So these are the effective solution of staffing. So staffing function is most important. Therefore directing the newcomer when will join in the work phase in the organization, they have to be properly motivated, they should have to properly directed, otherwise they will not be work effectively. And coordination. So we already seen that the management is a coordinated activities. The management is involved in a systematic manner, universal nature and through concerted effort. So therefore, all the human behaviors, all the human activities to be coordinated. Without coordination, the management cannot work effectively. So human behavior are to be related, interrelated and intermingled. Thereby the functions can be done effectively. Then reporting, everything what is going on, what is occurring, all these things to be systematically reported in written form, written statement. It is reported to the higher authority. At the same time, the society will be reported. So therefore, reporting of an organization is most important activity. Then budgeting. It is the financial planning actually. The money is to be properly allotted to different sections of an organization so as to run the activities properly. Resources to be procured in times of action activities, money will be delivered, and in times of producing, huge amount of money will be required. So money is the lifeblood of an organization, and for that purpose this money to be systematically used. Through budgeting, the planning, financial plan to be made systematically, and it is also a control of the society, also control of the organization. So therefore, budgeting function is almost most important. So this post curve are the important managerial function and aspect of management perspective also. So you can see that modern age is based on science, advertisement and management. Management is keenly associated with the each and every work of human society. The common people are still ignorant. However, people must be motivated. The management is now coming in the academic field. A huge amount of learners are included to study this field. They will learn everything, and as such, after getting the managerial knowledge, they will apply over there, because one of the important character of a manager is to gain knowledge on this management. So therefore, in a society, if we want to achieve more result, if we achieve success, if we achieve to objectively, so therefore management to be applied very systematically, otherwise we won't be able to achieve our objectives. So therefore management is most important in our areas, in every field management to be applied so as to achieve the better result for the benefit of the ultimate society. So dear learners, we have discussed the all aspects of management, that is known as management perspectives. We have learned that management is a greater concept. It is the new developed field of this modern society. It is need of the hours, and management to be applied in any organization effectively and efficiently. Then any organization will be able to achieve its objectives, and therefore all these things to be systematically applied, and these arises out of different subject fields. A different subject fields given the different aspects, and all these aspects are applied in organization. So therefore, to achieve the objectives of the organization, nowadays applications of management is must. Thank you, all the learners.